On today's Royally Us, Meghan Markle delays her docu-series as she and Harry are slammed for helping victims of the wildfire. Plus, Princess Kate is putting herself first as she steps out for her first royal engagement of the new year. So when will she return full-time? Royal expert Ed Owens weighs in.
I think William will be pleased that she's back.
Plus, there is a royal traitor amongst us, as it is reported that King Charles has great sadness over his relationship with his grandkids. We have that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Everyone, and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, and that's Christine, and kicking off with some really great news this week, and Princess Kate is back in action.
I think that's definitely the highlight of this week's stories. We have lots to talk about, lots of things happening in the royal world.
Definitely. So let's get into it. Like we said, Princess Kate returned to the hospital where she underwent cancer treatment. The Princess of Wales paid a visit to the staff and patients of the Royal Marsden Hospital in London on Tuesday, January 14th. A Kensington Palace spokesperson said the princess wanted to make the journey to both show her gratitude to the incredible team, but also highlight the world-leading care and treatment the Marsden provides. While speaking with patients, one person reportedly told Kate that she's managed the children amazingly well while dealing with her health issues, to which she replied, "Oh, thanks, it's just trying to do the best." Now, per Hello, Kate also stated that cancer treatments are really so different and varied. It impacts families differently. And her visit to the hospital comes amid news that she and William have become joint patrons of the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust. Now, following her visit, she released a statement saying, "It is a relief to now be in remission, and I remain focused on recovery. As anyone who has experienced a cancer diagnosis will know, it takes time to adjust to a new normal. I am, however, looking forward to a fulfilling year ahead. There is much to look forward to. Thank you to everyone for your continued support." So it is such a relief and so nice to hear that Kate is officially in remission as she remains focused on her recovery. So obviously this is a visit that is near and dear to her heart, and she wanted to give back, pay a visit, and I feel like this may set the tone for the year and like maybe where they want to focus their future endeavors.
Yeah, we did hear throughout last year that we would probably learn more about Kate's treatment and her illness as she went back to work. And this is a great example of that. She really spoke, when she was speaking to other patients and staff, she spoke about her experience and how much it affected other people and how everyone is just trying to do their best. But it was just so moving. I mean, she said at one point that it was nice to come in the front door and to not be sneaking inside doors for treatment. And I feel like that was so moving to hear from her, to sort of realize that, oh, she was, this treatment wasn't sort of up in palace walls. She was really at this as an NHS hospital. It's one of the most incredible hospitals in the country. She obviously received incredible care, but she was in the same building as everybody else receiving similar treatment.
Yeah, it's nice that she can give back. She knows what these patients are going through, so she can relate to them on a whole new level. So I'm sure this meant a lot to not only Kate, but the patients as well. All right, well, switching gears over to Harry and Meghan, Netflix has actually postponed the premiere of Meghan Markle's With Love docuseries following the ongoing wildfires in Los Angeles. She said in a statement, "I'm thankful to my partners at Netflix for supporting me in delaying the launch as we focus on the needs of those impacted by the wildfires in my home state of California." I mean, these wildfires, I'm sure you've seen some of the photos. It's like apocalyptic. It's so tragic, and I feel like this is definitely a right move. It just seems like the wrong time to launch something like this.
Totally agree. Megan said it was said about her Instagram launch that she took it at the beach as a way of sort of commemorating the Southern California community that's been so good to her. So much of the show is about the Southern California community, really highlighting that beautiful part of the world and just the community that Meghan and Harry have really set up their life in. And so to sort of glamorize it and then publish it on Netflix when the town is literally burning would be hugely, I think, inappropriate and just tone deaf. And they recognized that right away, and sort of pulled the plug on this temporarily. We'll see it in the beginning of March, so we can sort of look forward to it then.
Definitely, yeah, I know. But they have been busy. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they actually visited Central Kitchen in Pasadena, California, and volunteered to hand out food and supplies to people affected by the Eaton fire. During the visit, they witnessed harrowing stories from victims, but also strong community spirit as they offered their support. The pair also took time to connect with elderly individuals and families affected by the crisis inside the center. Harry and Meghan donated clothing, children's items, and other essential supplies to the main donation center. But not everyone, of course, no matter what they do, not everyone is going to approve of this. Actress Justine Bateman, she got a lot of people talking after she criticized their efforts to help victims of the fire. She wrote via X, "Meghan Markle and Harry are no better than ambulance chasers. What a repulsive photo op they achieved. They are touring the damage. Are they politicians now? They don't live here. They are tourists, disaster tourists." So yeah, like I said, this got a lot of people talking. A lot of people felt like it was a photo op. I feel like she's lived in Southern California all of her life and maybe just wanted to give back and try to help their community. This is what they do. They associate themselves with charity and want to give back. But no matter what they do, it is just a lose-lose situation.
It really is. I mean, I do think that this is such a mean take to call them disaster tourists. We know that Meghan and Harry have worked with World Central Kitchen and Jose Andres for years and years. It was like one of their first projects that they joined in on. They were there volunteering as part of that. Obviously, there were tons of news crews present, but we know Meghan and Harry didn't take any press or media or camera people of themselves. It was just what people posted on social media or what the news media caught on camera as part of their larger reporting. And Megan's there in like jeans and she's not dolled up. She doesn't have any makeup on. You can tell that she's been crying. There's a real difference between Meghan when she is working and when she's not. And this was very clearly, to me, not a working visit. They're just volunteering, putting their time in, donating, what they can. They listed off a number of resources on their Archwell website, and they live there. Like you said, Meghan grew up in Southern California. She's a California girl, and she always has been. So it makes sense that they would sort of get stuck in, use their platform to sort of, make people aware of resources, raise awareness for these organizations that are, how to help. I think there comes a point where we have to realize that some people are just going to be negative at what Meghan and Harry are doing because they don't like them, not because they're actually doing anything wrong.
No, there's lots of other public figures that have been out and about helping and giving back,
absolutely.
and they're not the only ones. But yeah, like you said, it's hard for people to just say like, oh, wow, they're doing a good thing and helping people in a time of dire need. But they also released a statement. This doesn't have to do with the wildfires, but they released a statement on their Archwell Foundation website in regards to Meta and Facebook changing their, what they're allowed to post and what not allowed to post. So I think a lot of people are kind of confused about still where they stand in this whole sphere of, are they celebrities? Are they trying to be politicians? Where do they kind of fall into? And I think that's the question that they've really had since they left the royal family.
Yeah, that really falls under Prince Harry's projects working on social media reform. But I agree that in terms of how the public is digesting that information, it's really unclear. It looks all over the place, even though you and I, who follow them very closely, can sort of say, well, that message matches up with Harry's projects in social media reform. The average person is looking at that thinking that's a really weird thing to say. And just like this volunteering with World Central Kitchen with Meghan and Jose Andres are supposedly friends. They've worked together well before she was the Duchess of Sussex. So that's a long-standing relationship. But if you don't know that, maybe it does look a little bit off. Context is everything, isn't it? But I think especially with Meghan and Harry, we should probably start giving them the benefit of the doubt before assuming they're being terrible people.
Yes, we got to know the whole story before we form opinions. All right. All right, well, let's spill some royal tea. And Princess Kate celebrated her 43rd birthday by putting herself first. A family friend recently told People magazine she is looking after herself and is wise to do so. She will know when she wakes up if she is well enough or not to do something. Her husband, of course, Prince William, took to Instagram, posted this beautiful tribute, posting a black and white photo of Kate smiling, and he wrote, "To the most incredible wife and mother, the strength you've shown over the last year has been remarkable. George, Charlotte, Louis, and I are so proud of you. Happy birthday, Catherine. We love you." This was such a fitting, beautiful tribute, to the point, exactly. I feel like probably over this past year they have gotten even closer together. I'm sure this has really tested them in so many different ways, and it's nice to see that obviously she's out and about and she'll kind of take it as it comes when she feels up to doing something.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a real evolution in William and Catherine's relationship between each other, but also how they share that with the public. We saw that with them being sort of lovey-dovey in the video taken on the beach in this message. And Kate said when she visited the Royal Marsden Hospital that she was surprised at how much her treatment affected her family and the people around her, and how much they needed support as well. And I think that really speaks to probably how much it weighed on William, which we've spoken about so much, how much weight he had to carry the last year. And I definitely think we're seeing them acknowledging each other more, sort of publicly loving each other a bit more. And his birthday message was a great example of that.
It really was. And it seems like she's slowly kind of immersing herself back into work. It was reported this week that she may make a show-stopping appearance at next month's BAFTA Film Awards, which would be so exciting. The Daily Mail is reporting that insiders at the awards are pulling out all the stops to ensure the ceremony marks Kate's triumphant return to the red carpet. BAFTA Film Committee Chairman Anna Higgs says she is very hopeful Kate will accompany William, the Academy's president, at London's Royal Festival Hall on February 16th. So, they're working really hard to secure her presence, aware of probably how much fanfare will be there if she does decide to step out on the carpet. But hopefully she does. We always love a red carpet moment, and this is always one of our favorites.
Oh, definitely. I think this is a big event in their royal calendar. We always sort of look forward to it, cross our fingers that Kate will go in a glamorous red carpet gown. Some of her best red carpet looks have been at the BAFTAs. But I think, as we said, it's probably still day by day, or, there's so much that goes into this. Maybe she'll decide a few days before, but again, she could wake up and really feel unwell. She could be feeling great at the time. And I think Kensington Palace is stressing that it is going to be a slow return. She is still, facing that recovery. It's a long road. So am I crossing my fingers? Yes. I think we're all really hopeful, because that would be a very glamorous return.
It really would. Well, let's kind of map out and see maybe what the rest of the year might look like for Kate work-wise. And here to break that all down is royal expert and author Ed Owens. Take a look. Do you think that she'll return to work full-time, or do you think that this is it's going to alter the way that she kind of views her royal duties?
I think there'll be a gradual ratcheting up of her workload. I think she will probably be picking and choosing, I should say. To begin with, she's got a family life as well, and she will want to spend time with her children, with those that matter to her, alongside all of this. So I think it will be a gradual sort of return to the full array of work.
Yeah. How do you think William feels about her returning to the royal fold?
I think he'll be really pleased, because he's had to shoulder a lot of the responsibilities over the last 12 months, and not only representing his father, but also representing the Waleses, plural. So I think he'll be pleased to have Catherine back at his side, also conducting herself publicly, carrying out the work of royalty. We know that for a long time now, the royals, there are too few of them. Frankly, compared to the past, there aren't enough royals to go around in terms of the old work of the royal family, and they've had to really cut back on the kind of things they're doing, and that puts pressure on people. And so I think William will be pleased that she's back.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel like obviously, I'm sure that, like she said in the statement, it is a huge relief. What do you think she's emotionally feeling right now going into this new year?
A new year, an opportunity for making a break with the recent past, renaissance with spring, new life, new opportunities. I imagine it's But based on what she's gone through, she's now thinking, how can she continue the good work that she was doing before? How can she ensure that the monarchy continues to evolve, that this transition from one reign to the next reign to the next reign, where she will be king, where she will be queen, pardon me, that evolution is successful. And of course, she's also got those activities, those outlets that she's cared a great deal about over the last 5, even 10 years, mental health, but more recently, early years care. I imagine she wants to get back to it and to really make something of those projects.
All right. Well, I don't know, Christine, if you were a big fan of the Traitors, if you get the Traitors over there, but we have a royal amongst us. Lord Ivor Mountbatten lived up to his name by finding a way to bring up Meghan Markle and Prince Harry during his first scene on season 3 of The Traitors. During the premiere, which was released on January 9th, he was asked what made him a public figure. He said, "I was born with a very nice last name, Mountbatten. It is one of the royal family's surnames." He noted the connection to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, adding Harry and Meghan's children are called Mountbatten Windsor. King Charles III is my second cousin. He recalled making headlines that put him into the spotlight. He said, "I was married for 17 years to a woman and I had 3 kids. Then we parted company and I married a bloke, James Coyle, because I have a famous last name. It was all over the newspapers." Despite not being a working member of the royal family, he was considered as such by his fellow contestants. Chriselle Staus said that the royals needed a little queerness in response to Ivor's revelation about his personal life, while Bob the Drag Queen called Ivor the first gay royal. Like I said, I don't know if you watch The Traitors. It is a fantastic show, but a lot of people think that maybe he is a traitor amongst them.
I have heard that it's amazing. We have Traitors in the UK as well. I haven't. I feel like I would just be hooked. I can't. I'm careful with my reality shows because I get too into them. But I love this. I love that he acknowledges that it's just because of his last name. He doesn't really have a relationship with them, but it's that very famous last name that really blew the bloodline. But it reminds me of our friend Gareth's new book coming up, which is called Queen's Name, not the first gay royal. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this is a really fun story. I love, the royal family is much bigger than we think it is.
It really is, but casting, I'm over there on The Traitors.
Yeah.
Good work, good work. All right, let's wrap it up with our pint-sized palace. And King Charles is reportedly deeply saddened by his non-existent relationship with Harry's children, and this is according to royal commentator Jenny Bond. She told the Mirror, "It must remain a great sadness to the king to be so distant from his 2 U.S.-based grandchildren. He hardly knows them, and there's no prospect of that changing anytime soon. The early years in a child's life are so magical, and once they're gone, they're gone. I hope the king doesn't dwell on his loss too much, but it must hurt." Bond claims that the king, who has only seen his daughter-in-law, Meghan, reportedly once since she quit royal life, is committed to building a relationship with the pair's children. They said maybe behind the scenes, Harry and Meghan have sent pictures to the king. Obviously, we have no idea what goes on behind closed doors and if he is able to FaceTime them, if he has a relationship with them. We don't know, but I'm sure distance is difficult, and I'm sure he would love to see his grandchildren a bit more.
Yeah, I think we know that he's very close to William and Catherine's children, and they seem very close to him. And we've seen them, together at events, especially during the Platinum Jubilee, where Louis is sitting on his knee and they look, very happy and comfortable together. So he's an active grandfather, and he is probably terribly upset that he's not really active in Archie and Lily's lives. But distance is a difficult thing. Lots of people move away from their families, but like you said, hopefully I can see Queen Camilla sort of teaching him how to use FaceTime on his iPhone. He doesn't strike me as being, we know he's not incredibly tech savvy. He doesn't strike me as being very knowledgeable on how to do a FaceTime. But I do think that there's, those sort of polite family efforts too, because the children sort of can smooth over rough relationships, because that can be so important for those bonds between grandchildren and grandparents, just to have the time together that they can.
Definitely. Hopefully they're making it work. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Us. A lot of great stories, so hopefully the good vibes continue into the new year.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, well, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week.